Hi guys, it is Psychic Gal here today. What the fuck is up? I'm sorry it's been a long time. I'm petrified. Petrified. Okay, Al. I'm terrified of talking to a camera for like 20 minutes because I feel like I wouldn't have much to say. But I'm getting the reins of it. I'm trying new things and I'm telling myself I will upload at least 2 videos a week, and I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to do that. There's my manifestation. I'm going to do that. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my past experiences, what I've learned, how I've healed, how I've kind of just how things resonate in my life. Like, the way I am today was not how I was 2 years ago. I did not know how to express myself 2 years ago. And so I kind of just want to bring you back to some experiences that have meaning in my life and have significance in the way that I grew and I evolved as a person. Let's get on with the video. Let's go way back. Let's go way, way back. I'm saying back when Ellie was like 11, 12 years old. So when I was around 11, 12 years old, I was living in a household with a narcissistic dad. And he brainwashed me into hating my mom. And so I was an empath at the time, and I took on all of his emotions. I did not know my own emotions. My brain was still developing at this time. I was trying to still cope with the thought of my mom leaving and him putting his emotions on me as well. There wasn't enough room for my emotions. And so a lot of those years I took on my emotions, my dad's feelings, my dad's anger, and it wasn't fun. He was an alcoholic. He got a DUI with me and my brother in the car at 13 or 14, I think. He was just not a good figure. So at this time in my life, I didn't really know how to get the love that I wanted. And so I would show off my body. I thought that getting love from people was showing off my body or showing off my face and making sure I looked perfect for their standards. And what I've learned to this day is that that's not important. People shouldn't just like you for your body or love you for your body. And I think that was an important lesson for me to learn. Because at that point in my life, I wanted that validation from somebody. And so I chose the wrong people because I wanted it so bad that I got I got relationships that were exactly like my father and I's. They were narcissistics, they were control freaks, physically, verbally abusive. I would attract those guys into my life after I would try and go find a boy and still have my dad's emotions. And so that's when I realized I was attracting something I didn't want. And so a year goes by, like I get out of this relationship, I start to learn my self-worth. And then just things kept kind of piling up again. I was living in a tiny town, like 8,000 people. There was rumors, like everything about me. I was very well known, but people like to talk shit, like about me. And so I lived in a town where there was very small-minded people. They only talked about each other. Not saying everybody was like that, but overall, that's how small towns work. And so when I moved, holy crap. When I moved, it was a totally new environment. And so another thing I learned while living with my dad around that age was that I had to grow up fast. And so I know a lot of kids learn this young as well. They have to learn how to grow up. They have to learn how to survive at 11, 12 years old on their own. And at this time of my life, I didn't really have anybody to go to because my mom also was not in the picture or didn't believe me. And so at a young age, I learned how to stick by myself. And that's where I kind of didn't fit into crowds. It's because I always had my own shit going on that I didn't want to just have fun. Like that's at that point in my life, like I just wanted to just go home and sleep at 12, 13, 14, depressoed. And then another thing I tried to use to cope, which I did next, was drugs. I did drugs for about good 2 years. I did them to make me feel something, to cope, because at this point in my life, I wasn't feeling anything. And so I did this for a really long time, and I knew it was getting bad. Like, I was like 65 pounds. And then one day I woke up and I knew I hit rock bottom. I had a breakthrough. I had awakening, if you call it. I woke up and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing with my life? And I just woke up and I stopped. I quit cold turkey off of everything. I mean, everything. Sober. 2 months later, I moved to a whole new province with my mom, which I never speak to in 4.5 years at that point. Moved in with my mom, moved to a whole nother province while I was still coping with drug abuse. And so with all of that, created awakening for me, created another awakening for me. This was another point in my life where I was like, oh my God, there's more. There's more. There's not just this crazy environment or this crazy way of living. There's new ways now. When I moved, I saw how other people looked. I saw new faces all the time. I saw pixels when I started to awaken here. I started seeing everything energy around me, if you call it. I have glasses and I can still see it, so I know it's energy. But the one thing that I learned throughout all of that is that it took me a long time to be proud of myself for all of that. Key tip. It took me a long time to be proud of myself. I didn't like that I had to grow up young. I wanted to be able to still live as a kid. I wanted to still be able to play in the sand and shit. Like, I didn't want to deal with that stuff. And so now, at this day of time, the way I healed is I let her out. If she wants to go swing on the swings or go do fishing or do fun stuff, I always keep that inner child inside of me. That curiosity never leaves my brain. I make sure she's always welcome to speak or express herself. I don't care if anybody cares. It's me at the end of the day. I just learned that even though I didn't get that time as a child, I have that time now. And there's no sense of looking back at the time that I lost rather than the time I'm losing right now in this moment, still worried about the moment in the past. So that's one thing that I've for surely learned, is that I couldn't focus on the past at that moment anymore. I couldn't keep saying how not proud I was for stopping drugs after all that time. Because it seemed just so easy for me to stop. I couldn't be proud of myself. But then I look at it like, holy shit, like I got given a miracle. Like if I look at it a different way, I was an addict. And if I would have kept going with what I was doing, I would have been dead. Another thing that I learned was to not take things so personally. And don't take things too personally in the context of what other people were saying to me in that household at that time. People were saying rude things. I heard rude things from my father. I heard rude things from my brother. And I said some rude things. And everywhere around, it was just not a good household. It got to the point where I had to just fake being okay all the time. Which I had to start being the bigger person. I started to start being the adult in the conversations. I had to start being the civil person. I had to start being the more mature person than an adult. And so I realized, what am I doing? Like, how am I supposed to be the one that's supposed to be the parent in a parent situation like that? Why am I the one that has to suffer and be okay with their decisions? It's like not fair. It wasn't fair. I feel like I didn't get the time of my childhood to learn. I had to be the one to teach. Another thing that opened my mind was when I started seeing repeating numbers, when I started seeing angel numbers. When I started seeing angel numbers was when I moved, and I started seeing 111, 11111. Every night, me and my boyfriend that I still am with now would come home every night, and every time we check our clock, it'd be 11:11. And it was every night we went there. And it was so weird because I wasn't really awoken at that point. I was just stuck and confused, and I wasn't open. I wasn't as open-minded to new things as I am now because I can understand them. It changed my life because I started just questioning a little bit. And then it brought me into more. And I would sit outside and question things. And then it would bring this anxiety. And then it would bring this depression. And it would bring this bipolarness. And it would bring this up and down, crying. Be crying all day, being all sensitive, healing. It brought a lot to the table after just seeing 11:11. I just seen it. It just showed up at the top. Oh my God. I just told you. There you go. There's proof. It's like you can find these little things in your day, and that's one thing I need to learn to, or be more open-minded to, is being open to those little, just being a little bit more curious at times. Don't dig yourself into a rabbit hole. Be curious at times when they show itself. Don't go searching for it, because when you go searching for it, it doesn't present itself. But when you just let it be and you get pulled to different things, you'll start to realize those signs were meant for just you and only you. Maybe you might be the only one to understand those signs because they're only meant for you. If you tell your boyfriend those signs and he thinks, what the fuck, you're crazy, that doesn't make sense, it's only because it's a pattern and it's a cycle in your life. They do not live in your life. 12-12. Oh my. Anyway, short vlog from Elle. This is just an introduction for what you're probably going to be seeing over the period of time until I start getting the hang of YouTube. I haven't gotten the hang of it yet, and I haven't tried. And now I'm going to try. I'm not going to say I can't, and I'm going to make time to edit for you guys and make longer videos for you guys because I love you guys. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope that helped expand your mind in any type of way.